I dream of indie.
Hey, what's going on, indie game fans? Welcome back to I Dream of Indie. My name's Old Gamer Joe, bringing you another review today as we look at Arietta of Spirits on the Nintendo Switch, available just about everywhere else. There is a demo available for this one as well. This is an action RPG, top-down, very similar to A Link to the Past 16-bit style action game. Oh, it's a game that actually hit me in the feels, an emotional roller coaster this one, even though it doesn't last all that long. This game begins with Arietta taking a trip out to a cabin in the woods with her family. This is a yearly tradition that they share, usually with their grandmother, but unfortunately in the last year she has passed away, so it makes it a bit of a heavier trip this time around. Things will begin with you running basic chores for your family. Actually, your first quest in the game involves you having to head out and find some apples so that your mother can bake a delicious apple dessert for everybody. But without giving too much away, because I do think this is a beautiful story that's quite compelling and a big reason to play this game, Arietta does wake up in the middle of the night to be visited by a strange spirit. This is when it's then explained to Arietta that she can actually bounce between two different worlds, the spirit world and the human world. This will be the beginning of your quest, which involves a lot of sword slashing, a lot of dodge rolling, and a decent amount of exploration as well. I found that the controls in this game were very easy to understand. You have your standard attack, you do have that dodge roll, and that's really all you're going to need outside of when you get your spirit shield, which acts as a defensive mechanic throughout the game. You begin the game with a wooden sword, but your spirit will eventually infuse that sword to make it more powerful, but there's no charge-up attacks or anything fancy like that. A very standard playing action RPG that plays it rather safe in terms of combat. That's not to say that this is a bad combat system though. In fact, I really enjoyed the simplicity of it. That spirit shield does have a separate meter that will go down as you use it, so there is a bit of a balancing act there to how much you want to use it. There's not a ton of enemy variety in the game, which is a little bit disappointing, but I did appreciate that some of the enemies had to be defeated with a certain pattern. For example, you might have to stun them with the shield and then strike them. So the combat is simple but fun, and the exploration is not half bad either. This isn't a massive world necessarily. Most of it's going to take place in the general area around that cabin. You have a couple, I guess you could call dungeons or caves to explore, but you're going to find that they're not really puzzle heavy like a Zelda game. This is more about slashing your way from point A to point B. The game doesn't really have a good map system either, so I did find myself stumbling around here or there, but generally speaking it wasn't a huge issue, and the game actually feels rather linear. There are a few side objectives to be completed. For example, there's one shopkeeper that wants you to find a few items for them that are scattered across the world, and there are some cute little purple creatures for you to try to discover. I believe there were 20 in total. If you get them all, you might unlock something. Thankfully though, not having a map wasn't really the end of the world, even though I did stumble about a few times. Overall, the quest log works effectively enough, and the world isn't really that huge, so you're eventually going to find your way back to where you needed to be going. There are a couple difficulty options in the game. I chose to play on normal myself, and I found that it really wasn't all that challenging of a game up until the final boss segment and a scene that followed that. I really didn't die all that much at all, so you might want to crank that up a little bit, but good news there too is that once you complete the game, you will unlock an even harder mode for you to try to conquer. As a whole though, I really like the simplicity of Arietta. I think it plays just fine. I could have used a puzzle here or there more in the dungeon areas, but I didn't necessarily mind the simplicity of it all. And graphically, I absolutely love the look of this game's 16-bit retro pixel art aesthetic here. Arietta is so dang cute to look at. All of the characters are charming. You'll come across some really interesting ones as well, including the spirit that will follow you. All of the dialogue really well written, I should mention as well. No real grammatical errors that I came across. I thought the game was visually very pleasing, even though you do get those repetitive enemy designs. There is also just a little bit of a touch of voice acting here or there, more like the cute sounds you might hear in a Zelda-style game again, like a ha or something like that. That's probably a bad example, but no, Arietta will make a few cute noises here or there. I thought that was great. I thought the soundtrack was peaceful and enjoyable. Maybe not the most memorable action RPG soundtrack, but still quite nice, and it hit at the right moments when it needed to. At about a 5.5 hour playtime for me, I was a little bit disappointed when the credits started to roll in Arietta actually. I felt like the story was really just about to pick up, and then it ended, and that surprised me a little bit. It was peaceful, and I was satisfied with the conclusion, but I guess the best compliment I can give to this game is that I ended up wanting more of it. This is not an action RPG where you're going to be placing a lot of bombs to unlock hidden areas or anything like that. No grappling hooks. It keeps it really basic, and there was something nice about that. I really like the charming story here. I think it tried a lot of different things though, and I really was emotional at times actually. I felt myself tearing up a bit. So I would recommend this one if you want a compelling, really gripping and sad at times storyline to go along with some basic but still entertaining action RPG gameplay. Thank you so much for watching the latest video from I Dream of Indie. We would now like to take a moment to thank our great indie warriors who support us through channel memberships. Mitchell Hall, Bunny, Kevilo, Bill Tcats, Christian Cruz, Strict9, Chris Jackson, Nathan Moore, Peach, Adriana Amato, CJR, Falco Lombardi, C. Coyle, Skeptism, Jen Rose, Jesse, CPM, Julian Colbus, and JRS8. Thank you so much for all you do for independent developers, publishers, and for I Dream of Indie. Everybody else, please head down to the description box below. Let's defeat the Echo Chamber and bring a voice to the voiceless ones in gaming.